Good evening. I'd like to call to order the 806th meeting of the City of Laurel's Historic District Commission. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff to the commission, and any consultants used on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Agenda item number 1, roll call. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Hayes,
Here.
Mr. Colquhoun, Council President Les,
Here.
Ms. McSeany, here, Ms. Lubinecki, here, Ms. Frazier, here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2 is the approval of the minutes for the regular HDC meeting held on November 21st, 2017. We have a copy of these said minutes. Do I have any additions, corrections, or any other comments on the meetings as presented? The minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, Ms. Lubinecki has, I just lost it, sorry, has called for approval of the minutes, and Council President Lesh has seconded it.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Council President Les,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Ms. McSeany,
Abstain?
Chairman Hayes,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is an item that was tabled our last meeting, HDC 030-2018 for 604 Main Street, submitted by Patty Waters, requesting approval to cut a tree from the side rear of her property. Good evening, Patty.
Good evening.
Hi. So, we have an email from the arborist and the director, right? Okay. And you're happy with that? You're happy with that email?
Yes,
Okay,
that there's the approval of being able to take down the tree.
exactly.
You have no idea, yes.
Great. Any other comments
Yeah,
from?
Patty, you gonna plant something else there?
I think we.
Some kind of a flowering tree?
Yeah.
Small flower?
Yeah, the one that you're familiar with.
It's a crepe, you had a crepe myrtle?
The great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something with flowers.
I did have the lavender, but after.
Yeah, there's red, lavender. Yeah, yeah.
Or the red, I think, actually will be a lot better than the lavender. I did not realize it came in the red.
Yeah,
And
give
then
us-
when I left the meeting, I went back to research it. I think actually that would be very nice.
Yeah, give us a nice color.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to move we approve certificate HDC 030-2018.
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion for approval from Ms. McSeany and a second from Council President Lesh.
Ms. McSeany,
Yes.
Council President Les,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Chairman Hayes,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, HDC 033 2018 for 503A Montgomery Street, submitted by Judith Miller, requesting approval to remove a cherry tree from the rear of her property and trim a maple tree near her parking lot. Anyone representing? Ah, great, thank you. Are you Judith?
I am.
Hi. Thank you very much for coming. So tell us a little bit about the cherry tree first.
Well, it's leaning, and I have had some of the limbs fall down in storms, and I'm just very nervous that it's going to hit my neighbor's property.
And both these trees are in the rear of the property?
Right.
Yeah.
The one is close to the deck in the back. The other one's in the parking area, and that one I just want to trim.
Okay.
And you're amenable to replacing your tree? One of the trees?
I'm guessing I am. I'm not very good with plants and green things. I'll have to look for something that doesn't require a lot of. I have, in the past, when I had approval to remove a tree, I did plant some forsythia and some lilacs. And they're some of them have gone, but I do like lilacs. And I thought that that's a little cheaper.
Good.
Well, I went and looked, well, because we
Oh, I
back
think
up
I
to
saw-
each other.
I was on the phone and I said, oh, someone's looking at my tree. I bet she's on the committee tonight.
And, yeah, it does look a little worse for wear. And I think a lilac would be nice because it wouldn't be so tall and in your small backyard.
Give some color back there.
Yeah.
I'll just mention that the problem with the apple and the cherry trees right now, Laurel, is the borers are getting into them. And that's what's killing them. They went to trim one in our backyard and they had to take it down because the borers, when the tree surgeon was there, actually they took 3 trees down. One we were getting taken down, and 2, both of them had borers in them. So you got to be real careful.
Well, I did realize I needed an arborist, and I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
look
yeah.
at it. And
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve HDC 033 2018 for 503A Montgomery Street to remove the cherry tree, trim the maple tree, and put in a new tree or bush.
I'll second that.
Is that you, Margie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve from Ms. Lubinecki and a second from Ms. McSteen.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Ms. McStaney?
Yes.
Council President Les?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you. I'm also interested in getting windows replaced. Do I need to submit?
Yep.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's a credit item.
Yeah.
That, ma'am, Judith, that's a credit item.
I was hearing that.
Okay, so when you make application, when you get your contract, when you get it done, then you submit back and you get a tax credit. Okay?
It'll be a while. I have
Yeah.
to interview some different companies.
Sure.
But thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Agenda item number 5, HDC 036 2018 for 354 Main Street, submitted by Patrick Davis, requesting approval to renovate complete exterior building to include 2 flat wall signs and reading the name of the business and the other reading on Main to be placed on the top center of building front. Hello.
Good evening,
Are
sir.
you Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Same here.
So tell us a little bit more about this. You'll be up here for a couple more times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to point out that while I'm going to do my best to answer your question, I do have an architect here as well, Ms. Felder, who may be able to answer a little bit more detail.
Super.
Should it? So for item number 5, 354 Main Street, several months ago, we were approved by the city of Laurel, granted our special exception license to create a restaurant rooftop reception. If you're not familiar with that location, that is the old St.
Yes.
by the Christmas tree. So our goal here is to continue our efforts, stay within the confines of the HDC, and try to bring a little bit of change. The project is ongoing. I should point out, since we have 2 separate discussions that's on the agenda as well. It's one shot, it's just pretty much separated the piece. So that process. That's primarily where we are.
Could you either speak into the microphone a
Oh, I'm
little
sorry
bit, or
about
just
that.
speak up a little bit more?
perfect.
There
Thank
you go. Sorry about that.
No, no. Okay, so 3 6s. Canopy. Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that on 36, we're considering all the things under the work description here. I was a little, because we
On number, everything described under the work description, that's correct.
right,
That's right.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I could be corrected. The Board of Appeals approved this, is that correct?
That is correct. They approved it February of this year.
Okay, good, thank you.
So that's approving the
That's the use.
use of, not the
That's the use.
design. Okay. That's what- Yeah, I had a question, and I was hoping you could kind of clarify for me, because I was trying to, going through the 3 different packets we
Okay.
have here, is where you were proposing the stone facade with you, which is, you have in the materials that you're suggesting? I'm just going to go quite to where I had some questions. You have new exterior stone in our packet here, okay? And I was trying to figure out exactly where that was supposed to be, and also where the wood facing was. My sense was from this drawing that, I don't know if you can see which
Yeah, I
one
can
I'm looking at, that the stone, you're proposing to put the new stonework on the front of the brick?
That's correct. So the new stonework will go on the front of the existing brick that's facing Main Street directly, and another portion side of the building, but it's a corner lot that's on the C Street.
Right,
portion.
that's what, that is, when I read through your proposal and looked at the proposed materials, I will confess that I had some concerns about that, and if you look at the design guidelines that we have, it specifically talks about keeping with the materials that are complementary to the other materials being used on the street. And Main Street is basically predominantly 2 kinds of materials, especially the section that you're up by St. Philip's. There's some different, but down the whole from Route 1, basically up to 6th, there's brick, there's some contemporary, more, or I would call it 1930s yellow brick, but still a brick flat facade, and we have frame buildings pretty much up there.
Okay.
There is no stone at all anywhere on Main Street
Understood.
at this point. I mean, your flat brick actually looks quite nice. I mean, it's contemporary and I personally, in other contexts, think this new stone is quite attractive. So it's not the material per se, it's the material in context that I have some serious questions about, and that element does not really reflect the Main Street look.
Okay, if you don't mind, I would love to speak to that on two notes. First note, I agree with you 100%. While we were in the design phases, basically thinking about the different types of materials to actually bring to the building, and taking more importantly in consideration the historic guidelines for that particular area, we also wanted to balance, try to balance at least, a slight, more of a modern look, while still embracing the historic look of the street. That was one of our goals, why we proposed the consideration of the stone. Secondly, that building is, geez, I think it's 76 years old. And once we actually gutted the interior of that building, that cinder block is primarily the only initial thing that's keeping the I want to say the temperature or the external of the building actually outside. So it was, to be quite frank, it was very cold, and we noticed a significant difference based on that cinder block. So my task was to, again, stay within the guidelines while considering once the building is renovated, the cost that's going to be associated to make sure that we can maintain a comfortable working environment as well. So I had to, honestly, I balance those two factors, but that's why we chose that same site. Certainly revisit that if that's a recommendation.
I think that is an element, there was a couple of parts, but that is an element that personally concerned me quite a bit in terms of the design, and I appreciate you're looking to insulate the building. Heaven knows many of us have older homes and understand the need, but the materials now come in, I suspect, many other designs that might be more amenable or complementary to Main Street and to the stonework even that has been done in Laurel. I mean, if you kind of go up to St. Philip's or the Farrell building, you'll see different, these are kind of a raised, it's new and it's contemporary and it's great looking, but just not there.
Right.
So maybe we could, you can consider a different material for us to approve on that.
Okay.
Would be something I would feel more comfortable with.
agree. It's the texture of the stone.
Okay. Pardon me, did you make this?
Hi, I'm Tanika Felder. I'm the architect on this project. One of the reasons why we decided to go with this zone, the rooftop concept that we got approved for the special exception is a new concept for Main Street, something that Main Street has never seen before. The reason why we decided to go with the stone is just to bring a little modernization to Main Street, but at the same time respecting the historical character. Even looking at the texture of the stone, the color of it is very neutral, and it's even though it's like a ledge stone, it still has a historical flavor to it. Also, we were respecting the historical character by replacing the windows and the doors behind. The signage that we're doing as well is representative of the signage that you have going up and down Main Street, the flat signage that goes up against the building. And so that's what we were just trying to see if we could introduce something a little different, but still maintaining that, even though it has a little more modern flair to it, to us, which was one of the reasons why we selected it, it just it brings us up to 2017. That's what we were saying.
But the concern is that in the desire to modernize, you're actually putting in a clashing element to the rest of the street. And part of our goal is to create a harmony in the street. Mm-hmm. And so while it's possible to have a new element in there, I think what we're trying to say, I mean, if you look at St. Philip's, for example, the church up the street has an addition from about 1998 that incorporated that clearly is a more modern addition, but it has stone that reflects the building that is there. And even St. Mary's, which is at the far end of Main Street, which built a whole new community area, has stone on it, parts of it, I believe, that reflect more the character of Main Street. And down at the Farrell Foundry, which is, I don't know if it's you know where the railroad station is?
Yes.
Okay, if you go down right down the street there, you'll see it's a city building. It's actually the Farrell. There is stone in the city that's been used. And I think that's the kind of, if you really wanted to use a stone, something that was more reflective of elements that have been used in the city. Though frankly, I still think the 1930s brick is pretty contemporary in itself.
Well, I mean, and I agree with that because I've walked, I don't know how many hundreds of times I have walked past that building, but I've never really gone across the street and looked at it like I did after I read this. And I thought, wow, with a nice coat of paint and those windows, I thought that really is one of the most contemporary looking buildings on Main Street, and I had never noticed that before. And I agree with the whole issue about the stone. To me, that's just glaringly brand new, not in the historic vein at all. But I love the idea of freshening it all up, and then with the addition of the rooftop, I think, wow, that's an exciting thing. But
we can certainly, I'll have to make it a point to revisit the walk by the church to see, just try to get some ideas that be a little bit more consistent with the community. So we can revisit that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, the stone that exists on all the way down to the Kiesler Center down at St. Mary's and other places on Main Street is native stone, or it's engineered stone to look like the native stone, because they sure as heck didn't go get those boulders out of the river.
right.
Okay, so it's engineered stone so that it looks like something that might have been used when they did in fact have the mills here. So there's other options behind this kind of stone presentation. I think that are, listening to my colleagues, may be more palatable, because you're going to have, as I look at this plan, you're going to have the modern on the second floor. You're going to have windbreaks, is that correct? You've indicated windbreaks around the upstairs? The glass. Yes, are you going to have glass? You're going to have wood? So there's a way to marry, and the canopy that you've suggested is the same kind of canopy they used at Ragamuffin down the street. Okay, so there's ways to integrate modern features and give it that wow, which is what you're looking for in any type of business like this where it's a restaurant, without having to use the I call them brick stones, is what I call them. They're concrete blocks is what they are. But in fact, there's engineered stone out there that looks like it came out of the river.
Right.
Okay, so I think that's, personally, I desire that over painted bricks. Okay? Painting bricks causes problems down the road. Real problems eventually. They don't breathe the right way, and they start to peel. But again, there's other options here. I worked in that building for about 15 years, so I'm surprised you didn't find any skeletons in the walls. Okay. I'm sure you found some interesting things.
I sure did.
Okay.
First weekend.
Okay, but again,
Not to get off topic.
and again, that's, before Senate, it was a real estate office. And before that, I don't remember.
It's a Jack and Jill restaurant.
And, yeah. And,
cool.
Oh, dear.
and I will say this.
You didn't choose
the-
that name?
The other concept I'll bring in front of you several months from now.
The bricks at the side, the brick pavers at the side, I actually laid those for the owner because all was there was concrete. And we had to provide something that would allow somebody in a wheelchair to come up to the door. That's why it's got that hump in it. Okay, so again, I'm very familiar with the building. As I understand it, you're going to, you own the generator also, is that correct?
That's correct.
So you'll have that serviced and that'll become the generator for the building?
That's correct.
Okay, because we're going to look at something else where we talk about the enclosure for the generator and the, okay. So that's just my thoughts. I mean, I'm only one person up here, but when we talk about stone, there is stone on Main Street. It is typically what people refer to as river stone.
Right.
And you see a lot of that in some of the monuments around Laurel and so on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Another thought might be to, since this is a 1930s building, to possibly research a material that would be more appropriate to a 1930s building. Because that was a very modern era. And,
Yep.
Art Deco.
yeah.
So in conclusion, I can certainly say, we will certainly revisit that. If we could find materials or stones that are native or local to the area, that will actually absolutely be magnificent. If not, then we'll research the options to keep it as you mentioned, stressing as close to that stone facade as designed.
Mr. Chairman, I had one other question. We've talked about the clear glass railing and the windbreak a little bit, and I wasn't quite clear on the profile that, in the drawing that you provided, it's kind of a bluish color, and so my question is, that's a really new element to appear on Main Street, to have a really visible kind of balcony. There is, I mean, I kind of looked up and down and didn't see anything quite similar to it, but I'm a little bit concerned about how that is going to look. Is that going to be a clear glass?
Clear glass, a good clear glass. And when you look up there, it's not, it disappears to the
Okay, and will the railing be kind of the same bronze that you have?
Yeah, it's going to be the same bronze that will match the finish of the windows and the doors.
Okay. And excuse me for if I had some difficulty. Where exactly is the wood siding going to be?
That is towards, on the back side. There's an addition that's on the back side. You only see it from the back of the property, and you can see it a little bit from the side street.
C Street.
So currently, right behind the generator, or right beside the generator, I should say, that building overlaps more with 354 than it does 352, and that's something straight in the head. But it's an exterior garage that was actually built after the building was constructed. So the goal is to modernize that and have the wood siding, which again faces towards the rear of the structure and only visible to a few parking spots. That's
Yeah, I mean, it was not easy to get a good look at. I mean, I was in my car.
okay.
You know, but it was not easy to get a really
Right, you
good
really
look
have
at
to
that.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to look hard to see it.
So is that the only location of the wood siding?
It is.
That's correct.
So on the pictures you presented of the rooftop area there, that also has stone on it, on the walls. So is that going to be the same stone?
Yeah, we were planning on carrying that.
Okay.
So I think whatever you do on, whatever we,
Right,
but
whatever we do, it'll be consistent.
Yeah.
On the rooftop walls.
All right. And the stairwell cover is going to be the siding too, isn't it?
Oh, yes, but
Okay.
that's towards the back. You
Right, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was picturing the right thing.
Forgot about the yellow.
okay.
have a lot of items in this one application. And I think we could, consider, 2 through 6, and if we can approve part of it and then do some sort of a tabling or conditional
On the front.
on item 1, yeah.
One other question, one of the other materials you mentioned is new exterior molding, and I couldn't quite figure out where is that going to go?
So that's actually on the front. There's a molding there now that it's like a stucco piece on the front of the brick, if you look at the existing photographs. And there's just a little piece of trim that goes across the front. I have a picture here. No, it's a white trim.
Because that's actually kind of, I was puzzled because that's kind of a very traditional looking piece of trim.
Right, so we were going to replace it back with this additional piece of trim.
Right.
So we included that as part of the
Okay. No, I'm just surprised because everything else was modern and that seemed to be a very...
Oh, with that there? Well,
That's-
again, we were trying to blend a little modern with the existing. Even above the stone was going to be the painted brick. So we were trying to blend the two together.
I'm not sure a traditional piece of molding. Am I talking about the spot like that is actually like, here's the sign and then it's right below the sign?
Yeah.
Sure, please.
Sure. I'm just, if you could just, here's my pen.
Actually, this is not here. It's on this one here. See the piece of molding? It's right here.
So right now you have kind of a flat board?
No, it has a profile to it.
Does it?
Almost like a crown. It has a small profile to it. And so the one that we selected is very similar
Oh, okay.
to what that is.
Okay.
So that's that thick piece above the Senate?
That
Correct.
thick piece.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
That's what
All
we're
right.
talking
Yeah, it lost some of its perspective in that.
Yeah, it's hard to
about.
see.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah, gotcha, okay.
So which one is it?
Okay, here's the,
Right here.
The blue one?
Is that really, okay. Oh, that giant.
Yes, above the Senate sign.
so my question with that is do you really need that traditional profile there? I mean,
Well, the profile is actually very similar to what's there now.
yeah. No,
It's very, very similar. And so the reason why we included it as part of the application is once we start the construction, in case you have to replace that piece, then it's not a problem.
so you're not going to integrate, or would you be integrating the molding like all the ways across to the second? I mean, it's just confusing from the,
It looks like it's
see,
different.
where the piece of yellow is, would it extend to where the yellow is?
So that there where the yellow is actually a piece of,
But it's still
I think it's like a metal cap that
hard
goes
to-
across there. So we were just going to keep the metal cap going
Sure.
across, and then the railing would be right behind that.
Okay, so the two buildings won't be integrated in terms of like the molding across or
No,
something?
no.
Okay. I was just trying to get some clarification there. And will that be then painted,
It'll be pink.
the trim color that you're doing?
If I let me
Is it white?
I think so.
I think it's painted white.
The trim a different color. There's a trim color here. Yeah, you have paint colors here. Right. Here. So the trim
Oh,
is
is that darker?
is that Keystone Gray?
Correct. It's a darker.
Okay,
So it's, yeah, this one here.
gotcha.
So it would be as a contrast to what we painted.
Excellent, okay,
Oh, no, I wasn't looking for the color.
super.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion if there's no more discussion.
Please.
Okay. I would like to approve HDC 036 through 40, with the stipulation that
240?
with the exception of the stone facade down at the bottom, that
Yeah, I
that
don't think you're
needs-
doing 40, Margie.
Excuse me, not 40?
Not 40, right.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay. 36, 37, and 38.
Okay. Of that. And I would also like to stipulate that if whatever solution we come to replace that, if a different molding would be better, that we would be very happy to look at that, because that molding seems kind of out of place, the one that's there now. And, why would we don't want to force you to replace that when it seems sort of odd.
Ms. Orsini, could you just repeat the front part?
Yes, I will. Okay, I move that we approve HDC 036, 037, and 038, 2018, with the exception of the stone facade. Everything else as presented.
Are you going to stipulate about the molding?
Oh, sorry, and that the molding is up for discussion as well.
I would second that.
May I just ask a question, please? So we're asking the applicant to come back with a different proposal on the stone,
Yes.
but we're approving everything else, including the enclosure for the trash and the generator, correct?
Oh, we had not discussed that, I'm sorry.
No, that's
But
fine.
yes,
Okay, I
yes.
just want to make sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone want to discuss any of the other items that we didn't discuss in this? Now would be the time to do so. Hearing none, Madam Secretary, we have a motion by Ms. McSeany and a second by Ms. Lubinecki to approve.
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Council President Les?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much, and we look forward to
Hearing more about your project, too.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And the
This is
restaurant.
exciting.
And the
We
whole-
meet every month.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 8. HDC 040-2018 for
I like these too.
317 Main Street. Submitted by Daviil Singleton, requesting approval to install projecting sign from the front of the building and install 2 awnings on front windows.
Good evening.
Hi, are you Mr. Singleton?
Yes, I am.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming tonight. So tell us a little bit about this.
About the business or about the sign?
About the sign?
Okay, well, you got that information. It's just a circular sign projecting off the Route Iron post, original post that was left with the building. And projects down 30 inches, I think it's 30 by 30. Black and white with the logo for discontinued home on it.
Very nice. Okay.
And then
The awning.
you want approval for an awning also?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, and 2 awnings to go over the 2 windows on the front. And there's
Don't
a
like
picture of
those
the
windows?
awning. Yeah, there's a picture. It's a Nantucket awning, which is more of a concave awning.
Right, I saw
The,
that, and I actually did, as many of us do, kind of a walk up and down Main Street. And my observation is that the concave style is not really the look that we have kind of on Main Street. It's much more, I don't know, formalized, I might say, the scallops and the, the two-tone on the awning, I'm a little concerned about that. It fitting in with, if you looked at, did you look, I don't know if you looked at all the other awnings
Sure,
on the
I
street?
looked at all of them. And
None
the
of which-
two-tone, you mean as far as the white?
You
on
have the
bottom?
white and then the other color, and then elaborate scallops on top of it.
Well, there's many awnings on Main Street with the salad. No?
Some of them are pulled back
Yeah,
right
let me
now.
just-
I mean, I
the diff-
literally walked
yeah.
the street this afternoon
Yeah,
to do
and the
that.
difficulty with this building is putting a piece of signage on it. It was originally a savings and loan
I know, yeah.
many years ago. People knew where it was and they went there. And I think that by using the concave or the Nantucket style of awning, he's able to put a small hanging sign out so people will know the business is there. That's my observation. If you use the regular kind of an awning, it'll hide the sign when I look at it. Just my observation.
Hide it anyway.
No,
No?
I took a good look at it. I believe that you'll be able to see the sign both ways.
Like that.
And you're absolutely right. That's why I
Yeah.
chose again.
I think there's-
Add more curvature so that you would be able to see these signs.
But that's just my observation when I went down and looked at it today.
Well,
And I know that's not something that we have, but we got all kinds of awnings on Main Street, metal awnings and fabric awnings. And
I think the awning would actually fit the character of the building. I did a lot of
Well,
research on the other.
sorry.
I think Nantucket is exactly that. It's more up north. But again, in this case, I think it's a trade-off in perhaps having a more in-your-face sign as opposed to this small hanging sign. But that's just my observation.
Well, I mean, there is actually room for a sign above the windows there, I mean, and there's actually, I mean, part of the grace of this building is that the windows are actually quite architecturally attractive. I mean, I'm actually a little surprised that you want to put awnings on there at all, because,
Well, the front of the storefront, we have a storefront inside the building, and it takes some of the glare off of the items that are going to be in the storefront. We do have a men's boutique in front of the window, so this gives it more of a boutique feel. You know, you will have, as you walk down Main Street, you will have mannequins in the window, you know, portraying a nice visual effect.
well, if you have mannequins and then you have canopies over them, then with all due respect, the awnings that you're showing block half the window.
No, it doesn't block half. It comes down not even half.
But then you wouldn't be able to see the top of the mannequin.
No, well, the mannequins are not as tall as the window.
I have to think, Ms. Chin, that there are some other options in the world of canopies that would achieve the ability to see the signage.
Where does the top of the awning mount?
Yeah, on the window.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. It looks like it's on the inside.
Where would the top of the awning be?
Right here.
So you would still see this architecture.
Right,
You would put the
right.
top of the
Yeah,
awning.
so it's it fits inside.
Sure.
Even on this one right here.
I'm sorry, it's totally inappropriate for this area.
So you would still see all of this.
So-
It would be here. It would come down to the.
Right. Now, on this, it says it's 31 inches high. Let me see something.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And 2 feet
5,
deep.
6, 4 is 24, 28. Yeah, it would come down to about there. And I don't know if that includes the scallops or not.
And that's still giving you more than half of the window.
So, but it does come below this architectural feature. So you're getting 2 awnings, 1 for each window, and none for the doorway? Oh, okay.
And because the doorway, you know, you walk up the steps, it's already covered.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Would you be possibly amenable to not making it a two-toned
Yeah, I'm open for that.
Awnings?
I just thought the two-tone would match the sign. You know, you have a problem with the two-tone, not clearly.
Yeah, I feel like it would match the sign, but I didn't feel like that white, worked with the building.
No problem. No problem. I have no problem with the taking white out.
And knowing that goes below the architectural features, I like that better too.
Yes.
Okay, my only other concern is the bottom of the awning is at what height off the street?
I measured and it's 8 feet. I know it can't be lower than 8 feet, so it's something like 8 feet, 6 inches or something like that.
Oh, it says approximately 8 feet 4 inches.
Oh, good.
That's to the bottom of the sign.
Right.
It goes right around to the bottom of the sign.
That's to the bottom of the sign, but to the bottom of the awning is what I was questioning.
Yeah, it's not below 8 feet. It might be 8 feet, 6 inches, 8 feet. Now, there was another awning that I had considered that I seen on Main Street. It was more of a curvature awning, but it would take away from the original architecture, around the window.
Yes.
Well, this is better than that.
Did you consider UV filters instead?
UV filters.
No, I'm actually quite serious. You can
serious
get film.
Oh, film.
Film for windows. That is, it's still clear through, but it's UV, so it blocks. You said your concern was the glare onto.
And I'm still considering UV filters with the awning. Still.
Which would eliminate the need for the awnings, you see.
Well,
Just a thought.
The functionality of the awnings. Awnings sound like the awnings are twofold, that it's also a style, but also a function as well.
me personally, I think the awning actually beautifies the building even more. I've been working on this project for over 3 years now, and this project went from renovation to restoration. And I think the historic committee will be pleasantly pleased when you see the renovations that I have done actually. And we're just talking about the outside of the building. I do have some pictures. Just give you an idea of what we're doing. Yeah. Let you look at it, you can pass it down.
This is interior?
Yeah, that's interior. But as you can see, everything inside, is still authentic to the building. I mean, it went from renovation to restoration. And that's why it took so long.
So the business is a men's boutique?
It's a men's grooming lounge. When I say a grooming lounge,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
food day spa.
Oh, I thought it was going to be vinyl records.
Oh, yeah.
I got discontinued, that's what I was thinking.
You do see vinyl records inside.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, while we're looking at the pictures, that we approve HDC 40 2018 as submitted with the understanding that it'll be a one-tone canopy.
That's fine. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve from Ms. Lubinecki and a second by Ms. McSeany.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Council President Les?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate all the
Thank you.
information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing your project finish.
Wow.
Oh, yes,
I
you
look
do.
forward to you seeing it. Actually, I will have a grand opening and invite,
Oh, cool.
Great. Okay,
so
but
you can see.
doesn't look like I'm going to enjoy your services.
I think you will.
You've encountered what a lot of us who have old houses have, and that's called the mushrooming factor. It looks like you go into one thing and all of a sudden you've got several things.
So we'll enjoy people who have been enjoying.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
We'll end up enjoying looking at people who've been enjoying your services.
Well, I mean, I say a men's grooming lounge, but women are definitely welcome.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it's not exclusively for men by no means.
Okay.
Okay?
By no means.
Always fun to open those old buildings. Huh. That wasn't a bad bathroom. That's not even an old one. Are you leaving the brick exposed?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we took down 3 layers of walls to get to that brick.
Wow.
So is this finished or is this the concept?
No, that's finished.
That's finished.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice. Was the mantle there?
No. None of that was there.
Community forklift, right?
How'd you guess?
I've been there myself.
We've been
Second
there.
chance community for loading dock, and all up and down the East Coast.
And this is
Wow.
also finished?
Yes.
Wow. Very nice. Huh, very nice.
And Habitat for Humanity.
Did you find any papers in there that say top secret? You know, one of your predecessors was ex-CIA.
Yeah, I heard. And
Oh, yeah.
that explained why there was so much alarms.
So
and
much
wires.
wiring, yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the building actually went from, really renovation to restoration. Once I start seeing the real beauty of the building and the character of the building, there's no way I could just come in
Yeah.
and just,
I know he tore it apart for his needs.
yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 10.
I must recuse myself.
We have a tax credit request for 332 Montgomery Street submitted by James Frazier for prime and paint all wood trim and roof edges, et cetera, et cetera. Cost of the work was $2609.28. We have proof of payment, and the tax credit requested amount is $260.92.
Thank you, you too.
Mr. Chair, do we need to do a motion on that?
There we do.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the tax credit request for 332 Montgomery Street.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve agenda item number 10 by Ms. Lubinecki, a second by Ms. McSeany.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Council President Les?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Agenda item number 11 is another tax credit, this time for 336 Montgomery Street, submitted by Randy and Jean Anastasi for painting. Cost of the work was $950. We have proof of payment. The tax credit requested amount is $95.
I move we approve.
I second.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve by Ms. McSeany and a second by Ms. Frazier.
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Council President Les?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We also have a staff approval this month for 304 Main Street, repainting brick on front of the building in kind white. Any comments about that?
I didn't go look at it.
Okay.
304.
Right.
Wonder what,
Well, it was, he had replaced a sign, and
Who is it? I mean, what building is it?
Is it the rug
Is it the
store?
dentist?
I forget which one.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But, yeah, so they just wanted to, fix what had gotten.
Right, no, that's,
Oh, yeah.
I was just, I missed that.
Okay, any, agenda item number 12, any new business to report? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.